This is the Cholo News Report for Thursday 09 November 2017. The Syrian army and its allies capture Abu Kamel from the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. Syria has been engulfed in a devastating civil war since 2011, after Syrian President Bashar al-Assad lost control over large parts of the country to multiple revolutionary groups. The SAA has been fighting alongside a number of pro-Assad militias, such as the National Defense Force, and has cooperated with military advisors from Russia, which backs President Assad. The United States Department of Justice antitrust chief has told ATT that it must sell off either direct or Turner Broadcasting System. Both sides agree that there was a pivotal meeting on Monday between ATT, so Randall Stephenson, and Dodge's antitrust chief Nachan Del-Rahim. But last week the Wall Street Journal reported that the government was actively considering an antitrust lawsuit to block the impending acquisition. Stephens reiterated confidence in the deal, saying these types of mergers bring great benefit to customers, and have very routinely been approved by the DOJ and the federal government. British politician Priti Patel resigns from her position as Secretary of State for International Development amid reports that she had had unauthorized meetings with senior Israeli officials. The Prime Minister will now need to carry out another reshuffle that will create disruption and add to the sense of instability across Whitehall and Westminster, as her minority government battles to retain control of the political agenda. As well as meeting Netanyahu, she also held talks with the Public Security and Strategic Affairs Minister, Gilad Erdan, and an Israeli Foreign Ministry official, Yuval Rotem. Remainers who could be in line for promotion include Claire Perry, the Climate Change Minister, and Alistair Burt, whose current brief spans the Department for International Development and the Foreign Office. Federal prosecutors subpoena Carl Icahn over his role as an advisor on biofuels in the Trump administration. Icahn's unofficial position as a regulatory advisor to Trump drew criticism from conflicts of interest watchdogs immediately after it was announced last year. Icahn claimed the blending requirements threatened to put small refiners out of business and jeopardize the nation's ability to produce fuel. Icahn Enterprises disclosed the subpoena, issued by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, in a quarterly report. A blanket of thick gray smog covers the Indian capital, Delhi, with some areas 30 times more polluted than the World Health Organization's recommended limit, 1 year after a similar smog. People have been posting dramatic pictures on social media, showing the extent of the problem. The levels of tiny particulate matter that enter deep into the lungs reached as high as 700 micrograms per cubic meter in some areas on Tuesday, data from the System of Air Quality Weather Forecasting and Research website shows. The IMA has also recommended that the city's half marathon, due to be held on 19 November, should be cancelled. A North Korean defector claims children are being born with deformities near North Korea's nuclear testing site. Another added, I spoke on the phone with family members I left behind there and they told me that all of the underground wells dried up after the 6th nuclear test. One person recalled, Kilju locals who made appointments in a large hospital in Pyongyang were not allowed to enter the capital after the 6th nuclear test. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman accuses Iran of an act of direct military aggression by supplying missiles to rebels in Yemen. This may be considered an act of war, state media quoted the prince as telling UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson in a telephone conversation. Human Rights Watch said the launch of an indiscriminate missile at a predominantly civilian airport was an apparent war crime. He dismissed false and dangerous claims made by Saudi officials, and said they are against international law and the UN Charter, Mr. Cosme added.